So I hope you're great. And right now I'm going to walk you through the 20-20-20 formula deconstructed. And that's a term I want you to go deeper into. I mean, it's great to understand an idea. It's great to understand a model or a framework. It's great to understand a routine. But what separates the icons or the titans or the legends from the ordinary performers is their level of depth and rigor around the things that they know. And so deconstruction simply means you take something like the 20-20-20 formula, which I just walked you through, and you go deeper into it. You deconstruct it. You go down through the layers. And when you do that, you actually get a whole new level of awareness. And you actually get to a level of deep study, which is so rare in our world right now. You know, so many people love superficiality. Everything is just very sort of icing on the surface. What I want you to do is to play at the level of genius. And all geniuses, they go deep in a world where most people go really, really wide. So I'm really excited to share this with you. It's the 20-20-20 formula deconstructed. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do. So please do not say to me, Robin did not pour his mind, heart, and soul walking us through everything at a granular level. Because no idea will work unless you do the work. 5 a.m. to 5:20 is move. What do? Intense exercise. What does that mean? You sweat. You sweat. Why do you want to sweat? It releases BDNF. Is that cool? And then hydrate. So I have an antioxidant that I put into my water in the morning when I work out, and then I put in ascorbate C, or some people call it ascorbate C. And I put that in there, and I put on all of these supplements into my water, and then I drink it while I'm working out. So, because when you wake, little hack, little tip, when you wake up in the morning, you're dehydrated. One of the key points of getting your brain optimized and your body optimized is drinking tons of water. Most people in this room are probably dehydrated as people start drinking your water. That's good. And then breathe. I'll never forget last year at Titan, Greg Wells, remember talking about Felix Baumgartner? Who was Felix Baumgartner? He was the gentleman who dropped, I mean, this was stunning. We saw the video, he dropped, anyone remember this? He was the man who was in like this space capsule above the orbit of space, and Felix Baumgartner has anyone seen this video? It's staggering. He literally, no, Randy, you know what I'm talking about. He's a human being, and he was in this capsule, and he jumped out of, it just puts shivers up my spine. And so we heard that in the months preceding this ridiculously brave and fearless move, he was getting like heart palpitations and panic attacks. And what we learned is he did two things. Anyone remember the two things he learned? We learned? Number one, breathing. He learned a breathing technique. And number two? Nope. Remember, he had a little affirmation in the capsule. And right? And he read the affirmation. So if you don't think affirmations or words work, Felix Baumgartner, is that how you pronounce his name? I think it is. He jumped out of, I've never seen a human being do almost anything like that. He used affirmations and he used breathing. What is my point? Breathe in the morning. Are you with me so far? Yes or yes? 5 to 5:20, that's what you do. Okay, we're deconstructing it, we're dialing in, we're de-seeding the lemon wedges. Why? Cleanses cortisol. You wake up in the morning with a brain full of cortisol. Cortisol is highest in the morning. So what you do is by moving, you release the fear hormone. Anyone would like to cleanse out your fear hormone before you bring on your craft to your marketplace? This is how you do it. BDNF gets released, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which John Rady, MD, for example, has called Miracle Grow for the brain. It actually repairs brain cells damaged by stress. What's that worth to you? It actually promotes neurogenesis, the creation of more brain cells. It is a myth that you cannot grow more brain cells. Are you excited? Is this cool? BDNF. BDNF is actually fertilizer for the brain that actually promotes more connections so you accelerate learning. Is this fascinating? No, I know you're into it. What else do you do in the morning? Dopamine rush. By moving, you release dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter responsible for inspiration. Is that valuable first thing in the morning to feel inspired, to feel on fire, to feel like you're iconic? And you increase your metabolic rate, which increases your fat-burning engine. You increase your metabolism. How many people you've started working out, you do it for a week or two, and all of a sudden you can eat things you couldn't eat before, and you still stay lean, fast, and hungry, and lithe. That's because you've increased your metabolic rate. And when you increase your metabolic rate, you have more? You have more energy. Energy is more valuable in our marketplace than intellect. You can have a world-class product, you can have a world-class strategy, you can have a world-class ambition. If you don't have the energy to execute on it, your greatest dreams are hollow victories. Energy. If I were you, when I go home or later today or whenever it is, I would really de-seed the lemon wedges on, here's a deconstruction for Avalon and everyone else in this room. On the days when I have the greatest energy, what am I doing? What am I thinking? Who am I around? Nice deconstruction exercise. What are the benefits? Less fear. You beat stress. You have more focus. You have more game. And you increase longevity. I'm really into lifespan extension these days. Ray Kurzweil over at Google, here's what he says. Live long enough so you can live forever. Live long enough so you can live forever. With all this decoding of the human genome, many people are realizing and believe if you can live another 30 years, you are going to get a shot at immortality in many ways. Is that exciting? You know, and what's that phenomenal book that came out about a year ago? He's from Silicon Valley. Peter Thiel. What's the book? 0 to 1. Another part of your homework. Read 0 to 1. Peter Thiel, Thiel. And a lot of these Silicon Valley billionaires, Peter Thiel was one of the co-founders of PayPal. And a lot of these icons are now dialing in and de-seeding the lemon wedges around lifespan extension. This is pretty exciting. So if you live another 30 years, there's a great chance with all the technology coming out, you're going to have a shot at immortality. This is so exciting. Was that helpful, the first 20 minutes of your day? Was that de-seeding the lemon wedges and deconstructed clear enough for you? Good. Next 20 minutes, 5:20 to 5:40 a.m. That's the reflection pocket. The reflection pocket. What do you do? Well, to reflect, you journal. Meditate in the reflection pocket. You don't have to do it all. These are things to do in the 20 minutes. I have a tool in the tools section that I've given to you in the optimization manual, IM25 tool. It's a great tool. What I am is a very powerful affirmation. Anyone agree with I am? It speaks to that powerful part of you. In the morning, you just run through it. I am brave. I am fearless. I am creative. I am loving. I am healthy. You do it. It's a tool. What else can you do? The Gratitude 20 tool. I believe I've given you that as well. Yeah, it is in there. The Gratitude 20. Sonia Lubomirsky, Marty Seligman, lots of positive psychologists, deliberate gratitude. There it is. You've got a tool now. And then affirmations and prayer. How many people subscribe to prayer? Just, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. That's what you do for 20 minutes. Very granular today. Why? Gratitude grows joy. Why? Dopamine released. Why? More energy. Why? Less reactivity. Benefits in the deconstruction. You will be happier. Tons of science. If you were to de-seed this, you will see all the science behind what I'm sharing with you. Better performance, you're more aligned with your ambition, you're better at your craft, you're just more positive. Anyone like that second pocket on reflection? There you go. Final pocket, 20-20-20 Formula Deconstructed. Learn. Audiobooks, documentaries. How many people love documentaries? So what I've done is I've got a gym in my basement, and I've got this TV set up, and it's beautifully wired up. Hire an AV person, like a 12-year-old AV genius, okay? And get them, I've got it set up on my iPhone, and when I'm not working out with my trainer, my loved ones are sleeping, I go downstairs, and I've set up this beautiful gym, and I pull out my iPhone, and I pick up the podcast or the Netflix is there, and I sit there, and I love the bike in the morning for my first 20-minute. Is this granular or too granular? And I literally sit on the bike, and I've got my cocktail of my water and all the good stuff in there, and I just ride the bike, and I watch The Last Mogul. Another great documentary is, I think it's called The Good Son. Remember, I mentioned this before, Boom Boom Mancini, I think it's Ray Boom Boom Mancini. And he was the boxer years ago who killed the Korean. Anyone seen this documentary? He killed the Korean, it was Ray Boom Boom. Yeah, the Korean. And it's a whole documentary, and it's really powerful. So it's like, I think it's called The Good Son. And then there's Last Mogul that I mentioned, and I just adore documentaries. There's the one about Muhammad Ali and the Rumble and this, and there's documentaries on great athletic superstars. There's documentaries on Steve Jobs. It's amazing how many documentaries, and I love Netflix for documentaries. I've watched so many documentaries. I watched a documentary, I mentioned it, on Edison, and that's where I learned about Menlo Lab. And here was a man in a world where there was no light, and what he did, the incandescent light bulb. And I still remember it was a PBS documentary that I watched on YouTube, I think, and PBS posted it. And it was incredible. I still remember the moment in the documentary where he had discovered the incandescent light bulb and all the struggles and the ridicule that he had to experience on his way to discovering light. And then he had a vision, he said, I'm going to light up a block in Manhattan when no one had ever done that. And then he had invited all of these people from the media to come up to Menlo Lab. And here they showed up in this place, and Menlo Lab was up on this hill. And he just recalled the moment, all these people from around the world coming to see the first light bulb, and they're climbing up the hill, and they're walking up the hill, and all this darkness. And what do they see? This little lab with all these lights on, and it was just very magical. And so while you're on the bike, or while you're doing the burpees, or while you're doing the mountain climbers, or, and people go, well, I don't have any equipment. Well, can you do leg lifts and run on the spot? Can you do jumping jacks? It's called plyometrics. Plyometrics are awesome. Using your body weight as your weights. And so it's not about excuses, it's about finding a way to do it. I used to take a GO train. It was an hour when I used to be a litigator, and there's this Asian gentleman, and everyone else was sleeping on the 1 hour ride, and he was doing Tai Chi. And I love it because he really didn't care about what other people thought. He was just doing his moves, He was just doing his moves holding the pole. Thankfully, he wasn't pole dancing. If he was pole dancing, I would have intervened. That would have been an intervention. But, he was just like doing his moves because it was 1 hour to, get the body moving. So documentaries, that was a little bit of a digression, but I just love documentaries, and a lot of you like fiction and there's no judgment, it's whatever makes you happy, but I don't read fiction. I want things that are valuable to me in my life. And then you're gonna say, well, fiction teaches you that. I get it. For me, I'll just tell you what resonates: biographies, nonfiction, et cetera, et cetera. And documentaries are absolute game changers. And just set up your gym or your downstairs area where you work out to watch that stuff. And then what else do I have here? Mastermind, study notes. So how many people have already 30 or 40 pages of notes? Put your hands up. Awesome. Give yourself a nice round of applause. Phenomenal. You are world-class learners. Phenomenal. I celebrate you for that. What are you going to do with the notes? These are your laboratory notes. So you want to take these notes, you want to put them in a leather binder or something, make them special. And then these are your war sheets like the Roman emperors. These are am I making any sense here? You see what you want to de-seed the lemon wedges. You want to deconstruct. You want to take one line. Someone said yesterday, told me privately, the best idea I learned is ridicule is the price legendary pays for immortality. See, a lot of you might not have heard it because it wasn't ready to land on you. But you could actually take that one line, whatever it was that I just said, and go into a cabin for a weekend and actually deconstruct it and build plans around it and dial it in and meditate on it and visualize on it. So all I'm saying is if you've got 30 or 40 pages, you want to go through the deeper layers and you want to study them hundreds and hundreds of times. How many of you, like me, have read certain books? The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. I have Seneca up in my room. There are certain books, The Giving Tree, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, As You Think by James Allen. First time I read it, what a simple book. 50th time I read it, genius. First time you read your notes, wow. 100th time you read these notes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You want to be a student in a world that celebrates superficiality. Truly, most people, superficial. Give it to me now. I don't want to study. Don't want to put in the rigor. Don't want to be training. And that's why there are so few in the top 0.00001%. That's been my mission this weekend, to walk you through the models to show you this is your true nature. You were born into it. You were hypnotized and programmed by well-intentioned people. Here's where you now are. Here's the journey back. Here's what it takes. Here's exactly how you do it. Most people don't know this material. Most people don't have the rituals and tactics granularized like this. 20 years of thinking for this. Here's what you do. Here's what you're going to face. It's now up to you. That's the weekend. That's the weekend. And then video courses. Video courses. I love video courses. I watch them on the bike. I mean, anything that anyone else has done, you can learn. This is what the billionaires really get. They're not the most smartest. A lot of them have come from very humble beginnings. They love to learn. They're in the right rooms. They go to the right courses. They spend the money on the video conferences. I love online courses. How many people love online courses? Fantastic. Watch them in the morning on the bicycle. Why? The 2X, 3X mindset. You develop insight. I love that word. Insight. Oh, Steve Jobs was a genius. No. Because he had a monomaniacal focus on one skill for a lifetime, he developed the neural pathway with the fatty tissued myelin sheath around it so he could see around corners. He developed insight. You can increase opportunities. You times 20 the value delivery by the amount you learn. You become more valuable to the marketplace. You build a personal economy. I suggested to you yesterday that we are on the cusp of a very volatile time in the personal economy. And I have spent a number of years studying what is happening in a number of countries. And for the victim, what's coming economically will be frightening. For you in this room, and as you scale up, it's exciting. I believe, as a business person, what we are going to experience when everything else is falling apart will be the greatest time in the history of being business. It will never be so beautiful and easy to deliver gargantuan levels of opportunity to as many people as possible. Even technology. Please don't get me wrong here. I adore technology. Facebook. I love Facebook. I get to serve 3.1 million people every day on Facebook. I rarely share this. We have a reach every day of 2 million people on Facebook alone. And why do I share that? Why do I share that? That guy who grew up in that little house, improperly used, or maybe that's not the right word. You can use it as an addiction, or you can use it as an instrument of service. We live in an awesome world right now. You can use Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, to serve, to distribute value, to inspire people, to build relationships with your customers. That is an exciting time. And all I'm suggesting to you is simply this. It is a great time if you're fortified for what's coming. So you can deliver times 20 the value when the economy collapses. And it will. I don't know if you've noticed this. And again, have you noticed the economy moves in 8-year cycles? And when was the last collapse? And are things really, what do you think, as robust as everyone thinks? Here's what I do. When I am in an airport limousine, how many people take limos or whatever from the airport? Those are the people I talk to. And I ask them, do you think the economy in your country is strong? The people with boots on the ground, do you know what I'm talking about here? Is this real? Those are the people you want to be talking to. And they will tell you what is really going on in their in the domestic economy. Because they will tell you, well, business people are not traveling as much. They will tell you exactly what's going on. And that's the value of traveling. And I don't want to spend too much time on this. I want to get back to the model, but I call it the power of circulation. You cannot put a price tag on leaving your home city, getting on an airplane, and eating with new people, having new conversations, talking to chefs and taxi drivers and teachers and whatevers in different countries. It gives you a global perspective. It puts your ear on the ground. You start picking up things that make you a global thinker, and you can bring that value back to your marketplace. And then why else do you spend that time learning? It increases your inspiration. How many people you're feeling discouraged and you read a book and afterwards you're on fire? There you go. There you go. And the benefits, you'll be legendary. The benefits, you'll be what I call a market icon. How many people would like to be the icon of your market? How many people would like to be so good at what you do that the marketplace simply has no choice but to ignore you? How many people would like to build a personal economy born of mastery? How many people would like to be so good at what you do that when you walk into work every Monday morning, your team and the entire marketplace rises to their feet with lighters in their hand, like Justin Bieber coming down from the ceiling? Give you a round of applause. Come on. Come on. And look at the person next to you and say, I'm a believer. Just do that for me, please. Okay, 2020 Formula Deconstructed. Anyone like that? Good.